Perfect. It's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Our board president will be running a little late tonight, so I'll start things. Just a couple of quick announcements. First of all, I just want to make sure we have comment cards from everybody. We're going to cut it off here at 6 per policy. And then 2, if there's not enough seats for anybody, you're more than welcome to stand up in the back, but there is an overflow room in the back. Madam Clerk, can you read the closed session agenda items and if we have anything for?
So the closed session agenda items are a conference with labor negotiators, public employee appointments, government code section 54957. And we have public employee discipline, dismissal, release, resignation. We have legal update, pending litigation. And we have oh, sorry.
Yeah, your mic was paused.
I'm sorry.
Do we have any speaker cards on any of these items, Madam Clerk?
Yes, we have speaker cards on B2. But I don't know,
Okay.
is that on the right one?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We have 2 people joining in virtually. Connor, do we have them on the line?
Okay, the first speaker we have is Crystal Fitzhugh.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Crystal Fitzhugh. I'm an alumni of Grant Union High School, class of 2003. I now serve as the master prepared nurse, serving the oncology community. I stand in support of Dr. Raja and the Oakdale 500. I represent hundreds in the Northern California area who feel upset with the board of Twin Rivers. The board members and Dr. Lori Grace have employed every negative tactic and fabrication to discredit Dr. Raja's work ethic, his character, and progress for the Oakdale 500. Lie number 1, for personal reasons, Dr. Raja has been removed. Lie, there are no disciplinary actions in Dr. Raja's record, and I would like that record to be made public. Lie number 2, it is in the best interest of the district. Lie, Dr. Raja has actually decreased the level of fights and increased the academics at Oakdale Elementary. Lie number 3, Dr. Raja was removed for special assignment. Lie, there was no special assignment for Dr. Raja. He actually substituted in a first grade class before being placed on leave. Lie number 4, Dr. Raja allowed criminals through his hands-on mentor program. Lie, every mentor was cleared by Twin Rivers and held a badge for 9 months. Lie number 5, Dr. Raja organized a walkout for students. Lie, that walkout was organized by community leaders, parents, and students who felt upset with the decision of your board. In conclusion, let me give you a fact. If you remove Dr. Raja and do not reinstate him, you will be removed. We will organize a recall. We will not sit down, we will not shut up, we will not be quiet. In the words of the illustrious Dr. Martin Luther King, it is always the right time to do the right thing. Board of Twin Rivers, do the right thing and reinstate Dr. Raja.
Thank you. One more virtual.
Our next speaker is Sasha Voigt.
Sasha, are you muted?
Not unmuting,
Okay, thank you.
not unmute. Am I muted still, or can you hear me?
No, we can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. We need a timeout, board. We need to stop the talk. We need to stop the games. We need to stop the arguing, and we need to refocus.
Yeah, stop the clock for a minute. Sasha, I don't know if you're moving, Sasha, I don't know if you're moving the phone away from you, so we can't hear you.
No, I'm not moving the phone ahead. Have
Okay,
you not
that's
heard
better.
any? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Twin Rivers Board. I know all of you personally, and I know at one time or another, you all had the courage to stand up for what was right for our students. I want to talk to you tonight a bit about the way students and community have been treated throughout this ordeal. I want to let you know we need a timeout. We need to stop the clock. We need to stop the games, stop the arguing, and we need to refocus. Everyone needs to center themselves. You, Twin Rivers Board and Trustees, and Superintendent Martinez need to realign yourself and ask if every decision you've made, every conversation you've had, every judgment you have cast down over the last few months, not to mention in your careers, have been made with the intent to truly inspire students to extraordinary achievement every day. Have your actions and words supported students and their families in their pursuit of extraordinary achievement? Have you made the encouragement and uplifting of every child in this district central to every decision made in and out of this boardroom? This board has a fiduciary duty to listen to students, district families, and district community members, and to respond to their concerns respectfully, promptly, adequately, as you have sworn. You have a responsibility to give your best and the best of this district to supporting students. You fail that responsibility when you refuse to listen. You fail that responsibility when you dismiss their concerns. You fail that responsibility when you speak without respect to stakeholders who seek clarification and accountability. You fail that responsibility when you and your employees and your leadership spread rumors and ridicule against our students and families on social media. You fail those responsibilities with the decision to turn away. And in doing so, you fail our students. What terrible examples of extraordinary achievement you've set. Thank you. And please reconsider your positions, your egos, set them aside, reinstate Dr. Raja, and if not, respond to the concerns of the community tonight and stop allowing your in-house leadership and board members and your mouthpieces to ridicule communities and students on social media and in other venues. It is off their backs that you are sitting here tonight.
Sasha,
Thank
can I ask you to wrap up your comments, please?
I'm done. I said thank you and good night.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night too. So we will, we'll start. 14 cards, okay. Let's just, the board, please just be mindful too that we have people coming in from possibly the other room. And I know we allocated 30 minutes, but just keep that in mind. Trustee Jefferson.
Our first first person is Dennis Armstrong.
Good evening, board. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Dennis Armstrong. I am a pastor for one of the local churches here in Sacramento, and I wanted to speak this evening on requesting to reinstate Dr. Raja. He is such a pillar in this community. He is somebody who has continued to bring together a community that is seeking to cling on to something. And what they have been doing lately is clinging on to each other. Dr. Raja has been one who has been able to bring together the community. We all know the phrase that it takes a village. And Dr. Raja has been one to lead that village, even in the midst of turmoil. I know him personally, and I know him spiritually. I know him very intimately. And I know over this time, he has grown, not just as a leader, but as an individual, that he is in the midst of turmoil, embodied true love, which true love is patient. True love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres, and it never fails. And if there's anybody that embodies that, it is Dr. Raja. He's been embodying it in the midst of this turmoil, in the midst of this adversity. He has continued to grow in true love. And if there is anything that these children need, it's somebody who can lead them by example on how to get through turmoil and get through adversity with love. And he is somebody who can speak to them, who has been intimately involved with what turmoil and what adversity that this world has to offer. And he's been able to hold true to what true love is, even in the midst of this, when everybody else may want him to act out of character, to do this and do that. He has continued to embody love. And I believe that he will continue to bring that to the kids in this community. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The next speaker.
The next speaker is the Prince of Time,
Thank you for your time and attention. We all share a gratitude for time. None of us chooses to consciously be born, and all of us are moving towards the probability of death. As humans, we must accept that our time is finite and that we must move through time irreversibly. This means that everything matters and is meaningful. Every decision you make matters to the 30,000 humans whose time they give to the Twin Rivers system. Their time is real and valuable as life, as it is to each of you. Twin Rivers is currently a system that is structurally and measurably endangering the mental health of every child and human in it, and those around it, including your own. This can be clearly, It is provable from the law, science, financially, and with modern technologies that Steve and Lori are unevenly endangering the mental health of 30,000 humans simply by their positional nature. This can be clearly seen in the following two decisions. The first was their decision to remove a vice principal and principal of an elementary school in the same semester, destabilizing the cognitive and physical environment for every human at the school community surrounding it, which has its most negative effects over the course of time. The second decision Steve and Lori made was to station Twin Rivers police and staff on Oakdale's campus during a student walkout in response to the removal of their principal. During the course of this decision, Twin Rivers staff took children's signs and destroyed them, which is an act of suppression of speech, free speech of American children on American soil. This is confirmed by staff, teachers, parents, and children, and also confirmable from photos and videos from smartphones. It matters that you remove Steve and Lori before July 1st. If you do not, it is a public stance against mental health, against children, against teachers, against education, against science, and against democracy. It also sends the transparent message you are complicit in obstructing basic civil rights of American children, that you care more about politics than the lives of the humans that you govern.
Thank you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Aaron Cardoza.
Good day, board. I'm here to clear up a few things. First off, I have nothing against Dr. Roger, and I have nothing against Twin Rivers Board. But what I am here for is what's right and what's wrong. And what's right is he needs to be put back into the school. He has saved so many lives, and I'm a witness to these lives that he's saved with these kids. And what got me back involved, which I try to get out the way, but got me back involved, was the words of children, the words of the kids that he was saving, and that's missing him right now. Me personally, I work with gang prevention, and I believe that every kid needs a mentor in school, especially the ones that we're saying with bad behavior, the ones that we're saying with mental health. They need a mentor to be there to guide them in the right direction, and that's what happened. I am the founder of Hands-On Mentoring. I am the one that came up with the name Hands-On Mentoring. Dr. Roger was the brains to Hands-On Mentoring, but it is well needed across the nation, not just Twin Rivers School District. And with that being said, we talk about felons being on campus. There's no need for a felon to be on campus. Everybody can pass a background and still go on with Hands-On Mentoring. So today I'm just asking that you guys do reinstate Dr. Roger, because for one, he did nothing wrong. I mean, you know, we can go with politics, but we go to politics, then you guys talk about school, prison pipeline. Well, let's keep the mentors in the schools to help these kids get past the stuff that they're going through. But having a mentor there is really well needed. Like I said, I have nothing against Twin Rivers. I just want to clear that up. And I have nothing against Dr. Roger. In fact, Dr. Roger is a mentor to me. And I just wish that you guys would reinstate him so we can get past these issues, because it's nothing causing trauma but to the kids. And you know, that's when I step in when it comes to the kids. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Ernestine Thomas.
Hi, my name is Ernestine Thomas. I'm not a speaker, but I can tell you what I do know. And that is that I had a troubled grandson. He lost his mother at a young age. And when Dr. Roger came there, he was acting up real bad. And I seen him grab and say, "Come here, Tony. Come and let's talk about it." And then all of a sudden, Tony's attitude changed. It changed because he was something else. And he's something else right now. He gone back to his same ways. We need Dr. Rogers at Oakdale. We need him. I have seen that man come way back from his office at the school and kids fighting down here at apartment. He running up there to break them kids up and telling the kids, we don't have to do that. Dr. Rogers is a good man, and Oakdale and them kids need Dr. Rogers. So please take Dr. Rogers back to Oakdale. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is, I'm gonna mess this name up, Zikula Denav.
Can you please,
sorry.
can you please pronounce for us when you get to the
Sorry.
mic?
My name is Zikrullah Dinarkhil.
Okay.
And I'm a parent and representing Afghan community. I don't know if anybody know our national language, Durian Pashto, so I can speak clearly. Because my English might not be that good because I'm here since August last year. So if any mistake, just apology for that. And I'm here for support of Dr. Raja and also support of the mentor group, mentor team, not only in Oakdale and all the schools which is possible because the Afghan community, they passed a very rough time recently, especially those who came in the evacuation. So they have language problem, they have cultural problem. So they have lots of problems that can be solved by mentors, especially if those mentors are from those Afghans who lived here and they know everything well, and they can teach them and they can help them take their school and they solve their problem. And I don't know Dr. Raja a lot, but I met him a couple of times. He is a very honest and very hardworking person. But I don't know what was behind that. What was behind it that he was removed from the school. I also request strongly if you please bring him back to that school and also increase the number of mentors in all these schools that can help all the students and our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Speaker.
Our next speaker is Phyllis Powers. She in the other room.
My name is Phyllis Powers. Good afternoon. California education system bound and binded by the California Constitution, Superintendent of Schools, Instruction, Article IX, Section 2, Article V1 of the California Constitution. I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office for which I'm about to enter. Public notice, invoking Section 802 of the U.S. Patriots Act, white Caucasian collar, financial, commercial, white paper terrorism. Operating as paper and mental terrorists, invoking DHL, Department of Homeland Security, Twin River board members operating as bullies and financial terrorists for creating, misleading, and intentionally misrepresenting a grant program for Black children. HHS grant policy, Twin Rivers must submit a post-award amendment in order to reallocate funds to address unexpected program changes. That would be Form SF 424. In order to change the Honorable Principal Rajay's program, Twin Rivers board members, you are mandated by NIH and required upon changing any grant funding program transferring to public trust funds substantiated on IRS Form 1099G, 1099 INT, IRS Form 5498, IRS Form 1099C, IRS Form 8939, Money Signature Authority, deposit of public trust funds on Form 8109, Financial Crimes Form, FinCEN Form 114, IRS Form 990, your 990T schedule, changing any part of Principal Raja's program, immediate reinstatement of Honorable Raja now, or rest assured, all of you are collectively looking at penalties for false reimbursement, order 7.9, allowability of cost government activities, NIH, and bank robbery. I want to put this in, you will be audited up under the very program. Use your constitution and contract with America. If you're off by 1 penny, you are required by law to step down. If not, you're all felons. Now you have a nice day. I came from Brian Gregory, the state legislature, and best believe I'm coming for you. Dr. Rajay is my relative. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is James Van Buren.
Good evening, Board. The last time I spoke to you, I was here to speak on behalf of Mr. Akbar and Dr. Raja. Since then, I've heard that Mr. Akbar has been reinstated, and if that is true, I want to thank you all for that because he is a good man and an excellent teacher. So today, I'm here speaking on behalf of Dr. Raja. I've had the opportunity to watch Dr. Raja implement his hands-on program at 3 schools, Grant, Castoria, and Oakdale. In each one of those schools, I've seen suspensions go down, inappropriate behavior go down, and academic skills go up. That's incredible. I, like Superintendent of the State, Tony Thurman, believe in Dr. Raja's hands-on mentorship program. Listen, we all know the mission statement. It is to inspire every student to extraordinary achievements. Listen, if that is the true goal, then we need to reinstate Dr. Raja and his hands-on mentorship program. For me, the school to prison pipeline is no joke. It is real for students of colors. So as you make these decisions, please keep that in mind. Thank you.
The next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Tamara Eugene.
Good evening to the board. To the Twin Rivers Unified School Board and the Superintendent, Dr. Martinez, my name is Tamara Eugene. I stand before you again on behalf of the Oakdale 500 and the reinstatement of Dr. Raja. Our main goal is the improvement of our students and our community and their success. The removal of Dr. Raja from Oakdale is a pattern repeated that started at Grant High School a few years ago. As a teacher and alumni of Grant High School, when Dr. Raja was removed, he was told to say that it was his idea and that he chose to make the move when in fact it was not. As staff and teachers at Grant, we were never told why he was removed, and there was never any transparency of why he was transferred from Grant. Once he was removed, all of his ideas and programs left, leaving Grant High School the worst that I've ever seen it. That hurts me to say that because I'm from the community and I love my school. Everything keeps being swept under the rug. Without transparency and truth, it will continue to fail. The same pattern has happened today, his removal from Oakdale. This is not an attack on the district, but an opportunity for you to please do the right thing and reinstate Dr. Raja. Our fight is in love, for the love of our success of our students and our community. You are coming against a powerful solution that will eventually, I believe, be utilized in every educational system around the country. By removing Dr. Raja from Oakdale, I have it here in facts. You are taking away higher academic proficiency in math and English, wellness gardens to grow food and meditate on healthy eating and healthy living, higher attendance rates, increased safety, law and speech debates, and you are taking away an opportunity for you to implement his hands-on mentorship program. That is a book that will be published, written by him, that will be in the hands of the Superintendent Tony Thurman of the state. So I'm asking that you please do the right thing. We're not coming here to fight with you, but to ask to work let's work together, do the right thing on behalf of our community and our students, most importantly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Alicia Eugene Chastain.
Good evening, board. My name is Alicia K. Eugene Chaston, prior board member from 2008 through 2012. Twin Rivers Unified School District, lack of trust, lost opportunities, and children's loss. There was several investigations opened back in 2011 as a result of the activities and what continues to go on today as a result of Twin Rivers Unified School District lack of trust, lost opportunities, and children's loss, especially going on at Oakdale. The Oakdale 500 has been stripped of every opportunity to improve their lot. You have stripped opportunities from the parents. You have stripped opportunities from those babies to get an equitable education. They are now being abused with educational child abuse as a result of the complicit actions from this board and the leadership that came from Fresno and their families from Fresno. The investigation as a result of what was opened up from, as a result of the grand jury back in 2011 showed that it brought to light that the fact of unification process described as in Measure B provided a physical unification of 4 school districts, but not for the unification in spirit, overall goals, commitments, or keeping the primary focus on children. The community did not unite as anticipated. Not much has changed today. Oakdale is now being stripped. Grant Unified School, Grant High School, as well as Oakdale has been severely impacted. The issues, Twin Rivers Unified School District did they live up to the promises of Measure B? No. They haven't even hired local talent from the community. You don't even look like the community that serves this district. You are a disappointment to this district, especially these babies that are trying to get an equitable education. I could go on, but you know what you did wrong.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Ramona Landeros.
Good evening, Dr. Martinez and board. Ramona Landeros, a former trustee and also founder of the Benito Juarez Association, but more importantly, a guardian of a child of Oakdale. We are the Oakdale 500. My child came as a troubled child to me. And as we all know, Oakdale's in a high poverty, racially segregated community with many struggles and challenges. And when Dr. Raja arrived there, we wondered how much we can achieve in the face of poverty and segregation. Dr. Raja's reputation as Teacher of the Year for the state of California and his ability to break down the tough exterior of some of our at-promise students is well known and documented, as you all know. He's had students excited about learning. Why was he moved mid-year is what we want to know. A full year would have given us a correct data and not the inflated version of what can be accomplished with a hands-on mentor program under his leadership. While he was at Grant, as other people have stated, he led the school through a WASC accreditation. He was asked to inflate the numbers. I know this because I was part of that accreditation. When WASC was failed, he was told to say that he chose to go to Castori despite all the positive programs and impact to the Del Paso Heights community. Dr. Raja would have never chose to leave Grant because that's where his heart is at. It's worse off now than ever before. I have videos and messages by many students and families to prove it. Fast forward to December 2021, one day before Oakdale was having their big holiday event, Dr. Raja was abruptly moved to the district office and again was instructed not to say anything. There seems to be a culture of silencing administrators, teachers, and students As we know, some of the teachers were also removed from Oakdale for speaking out. Let's remember, someone here at the district office also made the decision to call the police on the students that were walking out, locking the gates to prevent others from exercising their right to assemble. Why was Dr. Raja told to stay shut? What are the reasons to silence him? Board members are now saying publicly that Dr. Grace misled them. If so, reverse your decision, make the right choice. You were elected to represent your constituents. Why have we been ignored? This is not going away. I want you to know. We demand to have the same quality of education that our neighbors in more affluent areas have. We want the hands-on mentor program and Dr. Raja back. Please don't divide the community anymore, especially through your Facebook tactics. You're using your teacher of the year as a recruitment in your letter to the community as teacher of the year. He's not even here, and yet he was, and he's released, and yet you're still using that. And by the way, the letter that went out to the parents for that, there's water at Grant. There's no water at
Ms.
Grant.
Landeros, can you
We
please
still have
update us?
HVAC problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Kathy Lester.
Good evening, board. I heard so many things, repetitive things, and that it changed my strategy and my platform and what I'm going to talk about because all the other horrendous things that was saying. But I choose to address this, the Dr. Rogers and the other educators who sacrificed themselves, their love and their compassion of their dreams to empower students to make a difference in their life. I'm here to say thank you for applying your skills and talent to promote academic proficiency and care that's needed to assist our students and family in this community with the many life changes through hands-on structure and emotional support. Dr. Roger, after being removed from the position as principal and without disclosure as to what and why you were removed by this board, I admire your determination to continue to fight for the students in this district. The education resume you have is impeccable. You have credentials to teach and lead students anywhere, privately or publicly, but you choose to continue the fight to teach the children in this district. Dr. Roger, the hands-on mentor program is God-sent. It allows students to achieve and believe in themselves. A win-win program that's already warranted granted funding for this district, and a program that will initiate further funding towards students' educational growth. Dr. Roger, hands-on mentor program is destined to become a national diverse educational format one day. It's sad that Twin Rivers couldn't be that model school district of that representation. I believe the hands-on program would have been an accessible tool for Texas when that young man did what he did, because the words that I hear is bully, dysfunctional. And in your program, you teach the format, target implementation of constructive hands-on involvement to deter continued bullying, provide support that embraces students' dysfunctional environment, circumstances. I want to say this, Dr. Manor, we stand together with you in this community, and we're here to tell you that we're going to stand together. Just know that sometimes people have alternative motives, and it is important for you to know to distract from that and stay with the truth of what you believe in.
Thank you. If the board would indulge, we have come up on our 30 minutes, but we have 3 comment cards left.
Yes.
Are we good? Thank you. Ms. Jefferson, the next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Maria Gajalva. Okay.
Yes. My name is Maria Grijalva, and I want to echo the sentiments of everyone regarding Dr. Raja. And I think what you have to think about most importantly is what's going on nationally and how it reflects locally. And that most importantly is the mass shootings that we're experiencing and how that will eventually be coming to your front door, and hopefully not to your personally. And that's eventually what's going to happen if you don't bring Dr. Raja back, because the violence will eventually happen. And what Dr. Raja had done is he had brought the violence down to 0. And that's what that program was doing. And so we're asking you to bring Dr. Raja back because his program reduces violence and it also reduces the school to prison pipeline. And so if you want to get rid of the active shooter phenomena from happening locally and happening nationwide, it needs to happen here locally and by having programs like Dr. Raja's program and bringing him back. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Allison White.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of Mr. Craig Tucker. He was trying to attend to speak himself, but there was an emergency. And so he writes, "Hello, my name is Craig Tucker, and I have been a teacher at Grant Union High School for the past 22 years. I am writing this to explain my experience working with Dr. Raja at Grant for several of those years. Dr. Raja cares about kids, their education, and future more than anyone that I have ever worked with. He is the best school administrator that I have ever known. In my years working with Dr. Raja, he brought about so many positive changes to the school and to the students of Grant. I will be forever grateful to him for all of his hard work and high expectations in helping the students of Del Paso Heights. Dr. Raja, in his time at Grant, was able to transform the culture of the school. For as long as I had taught at Grant, there had always been a massive on-campus truancy problem. The students were at school, but so many of them were not in class or coming to class so late that they would miss significant instructional time. In addition to the attendance problem, there was lack of high expectations with regards to student achievement. And because of that, we had a huge number of students with failing grades not making it to graduation. No one seemed to have had a solution to these problems. When Dr. Raja became vice principal, there was an immediate change for the better. School administrators have a very challenging job and yet have so many responsibilities, yet Dr. Raja would be in the halls of the campus between each class period, making sure to do everything possible to get the students in class. This, combined with positive relationships that he developed with hundreds of students and probably thousands of phone calls to parents throughout a school year, led to a dramatic improvement in attendance, grades, and disciplinary referrals. I am not exaggerating when I say that Dr. Raja in his time at Grant saved hundreds of students. There are so many young adults today who came through Grant who are now college graduates or are successful in a great number of careers because of the many interventions that Dr. Raja would conduct every day. Without Dr. Raja, a man who showed them how much he cared about them, had high expectations for them, many of them would not have made it out of high school. One thing that I often reflect on when thinking of Dr. Raja is that he is the only administrator that I've ever had who would come into my classroom when students were hard at work preparing for an exam and would tell them how proud of them he was because they were in class, working hard and developing skills that would make them successful later in life. The impact that had on my 14 and 15-year-old students when an administrator would acknowledge their hard work and thank them is beyond words. The students worked even harder after this time when Dr. Raja.
I'm sorry, hang on. Something happened to your mic.
For many of them,
Hang on for a minute. And then two, once we get your mic reinstated, can you please wrap up your comments?
For many of them, it was the first positive thing that any administrator had said about their academic efforts. They worked harder because they knew that Dr. Raja believed in them and held them to a high standard of achievement. Dr. Raja had a similar effect on the teaching staff.
All right,
at
thank
Grant.
you.
His hard work
Thank you
in
for your
helping
comments.
kids was contagious.
Thank
And because
you.
of that,
Thank you for
the
your
staff had so much respect for them and they worked very hard.
I
for
think
him.
I've been pretty
Dr.
good with
Raja
letting
is the
people
best leader
continue.
that I have ever
I will
known.
adjourn the
Dr.
meeting into
Raja.
closed session. I think I've been pretty good with allowing people to go over all evening. Okay. Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Can you call the next speaker, please? I think. Can you please wrap up your comments? Next speaker, Madam Clerk, please. Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Mark Harris.
Yeah, please. Thank you,
Vice
Mr. Harris.
President Baker, members of the board, Superintendent Martinez. I'm speaking on a little different vein than the speakers previous. You know, it's times like this, I'm glad that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, because I'm listening and learning. I heard Aaron say something earlier. I've worked with Aaron and other members of this community over the years. I first came to Sacramento and was delivered to the corner of Boxwood and Dixie Ann.
Hang on, Mr. White, I'm sorry. Thank you. We didn't have the clock going. I apologize.
No
Thank you.
worries. Got a little extra time out of that. I must have paid somebody and didn't know it. But I've been here a long time, starting with Norte Del Rio that used to be in existence, as many of us know, no longer is. Grant High School when Richard Owen was the president a number of years ago. More recently, I was one of the attorneys who formed the Law Enforcement Accountability Directive here in Sacramento, otherwise known as LEAD, when Joseph Mann was shot and killed by Sacramento police in North Sacramento. So I've had a long history. Currently, as an attorney, I'm giving advice to the Sacramento Unified School Board about dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, which I know this board struggles with as well. I'm really glad I was here this evening, hearing the impassioned statements from the community members. I took a lot of that in. I know the person to whom everyone here is referring. I met him when he was a very young educator in North Sacramento in the Heights. I want to end my comments sooner than a lot of other folks did. I really want to take in the emotion, the comments, the passion that people have relative to this issue. So with that said, I want to thank you for listening to me, and I'll be seated and be listening very intently. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We will adjourn into closed session. We should return hopefully around 7 o'clock.
The meeting will be called to order. Mrs. Jefferson, agenda item B.
There are no reportable action, Madam
Thank-
President.
Thank you. Agenda item C, opportunity.
Nope.
Nope, never mind, sorry.
And item E.
Okay, so with the interpreters, please introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul. I'm the Spanish interpreter. I'll be on the Spanish line. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Paul. Soy el intérprete de español y estoy en la línea de español.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. This is Salvatore. I am the morning interpreter for tonight. Nino Shadan, the Nokuya
Okay, thank
I did-
you. Next is agenda item E3, board action by separate vote.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move a motion to pull student expulsion cases A50-22, A51-22, A55-22, A59-22, A60-22, A62-22, and student readmission cases A4-22, A7-22, A17-22 from tonight's agenda.
Thank you. May I have a may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Yes, Stacy.
Yeah.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Bastian. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
Aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's and I.
Madam President, I'd like to move student expulsion case A56-22.
May I have a second?
Second, Bastian.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Bastian. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
Aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's and I. Motion carries.
Madam President, I'd like to move student expulsion case A61-22.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Sandoval.
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas,
Aye.
trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's and I. Motion carries.
That's it.
Thank you. Next is agenda item E4, the Pledge of Allegiance led by trustee Alcara.
Please rise. Salute, pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may sit.
Thank you. Next is agenda item F1, reports, board president. It was great going to some of the graduations. It was really nice to see families together celebrating the accomplishments of their students. So thank you to all the staff who made those happen. I know it's a lot of work. And I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate trustee Sandoval and trustee Bastian for your re-elections to the school board. It was very clear from the outcome of the votes that you have a lot of trust and respect by members of your community. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
I just want to congratulate the both of you too as well. I mean, 74% is pretty awesome, Stacy, and 59% is pretty awesome, trustee Sandoval. So thank you guys both and congratulations to you. And I know Madam President, you ran without an opponent, so congratulations to you too as well.
Thank you. Next is agenda item F2, Dr. Martinez.
I just want to welcome everyone out to tonight's board meeting. Appreciate every comment. Thank you so much for that. A couple announcements. We have summer school that started. We have over 2,500 kids who are in summer school. So our summer programs are up and started. They started this past week on Monday. The other thing is that along with summer school, we have a number of facilities projects that are going on across our district. We have our crews out, clean schools, and actually When schools closes, that's when we start preparing for the school year. So all that's in the works. Last thing too, if you don't know, the grant pool is open all summer and the Rio Linda pool is open. So please take advantage of that. No cost to any kids. So pools are open. With that, Madam President, that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Martinez. Next is agenda item G1, approve personnel recommendations. May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Sandoval. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
Aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's an aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is agenda item H1, present and adopt resolution number 1078, recognizing June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. Ms. Carry on.
Yes, and I believe that trustee Sandoval will be reading that resolution.
Thank you.
Yes, resolution number 1078 in recognition of June as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. Whereas the Twin Rivers Unified School District advocates and promotes the safe, inclusive, and respectful treatment of all students, staff, and families. And whereas the month of June is an opportunity to highlight the identities and contributions of the LGBTQ+ community, and June 2022 in particular marks the 53rd anniversary of the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in New York, which highlighted and served as a catalyst for the modern gay rights movement. And whereas the Board of Trustees recognizes and rejects the shameful history and present-day manifestations of bias against and oppression of LGBTQ+ individuals, and whereas sexual orientation and gender expression bias bullying is among the most common form of harassment in schools, and peer harassment and bullying contribute to significantly higher rates of school dropout, academic failure, and school disengagement among LGBTQ+ youth. And whereas LGBTQ+ youth are more likely to experience a mental health condition and at greater risk of suicide, and deserve our vocal acceptance and support, as well as special attention to the unique challenges they may face at school and in their communities. And whereas Twin Rivers Unified values the contributions of our LGBTQ+ students and staff members and supports policies, practices, and curricula that honor and respect LGBTQ+ students, staff, and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that Twin Rivers Unified School District in Sacramento County, California, hereby issues this resolution in honor and recognition of June 2022 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month, and encourages all students, staff, and families to commemorate this occasion, passed and adopted by the governing board of the Twin Rivers Unified School District on the 14th day of the month of June 2022. Before we move on with the vote, I would like to give a brief statement. A couple of board meetings ago, I requested from the board that something be placed on the agenda, and that was to establish a task force for our LGBTQ students and their parents, similar to what we have with the ELAC. That didn't move forward, and I'm hoping that down the road it will. And why I brought that up is there has been an increase in bullying that I'm even aware of. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm talking about.
Hold on.
I'm talking about.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm gonna ask the audience to please refrain from making your comments. Ms. Sandoval, please
Yeah, and-
continue.
Yeah, I just wanted. Excuse me, I'm talking with respect for the LGBTQ+ community. Okay.
No. I'm going to ask you to please refrain from speaking out loud. Ms. Sandoval, please continue. You're being disrespectful to this item that's before the board at this moment, and I'm going to ask you to please stop. There are children in this room, and I expect for people to behave professionally and like adults. Ms. Sandoval, please continue.
What I'm going to say is that I have, in my area that I represent, I have been contacted by parents who have been concerned of the bullying that their children have received, their children that are gay. So therefore, I'm hoping that someday that we will be able to revisit an opportunity to bring forth a task force. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to ask for a motion to approve the resolution?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Sandoval, seconded by trustee Baker. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas,
Aye.
trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara, I'm sorry.
Aye.
And trustee Jefferson's an aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is agenda item I, consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments from any members of the board?
Yes, I'd like to pull item L for discussion, please. L, that's the,
There's no L.
I'm sorry.
This is consent?
Yeah, consent.
It's the H?
Oh, this one. Can I pull that?
Not yet. You're not there yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
No,
That's
not there
okay.
yet. Not there yet.
Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Fowler, trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas,
Aye.
trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's an aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is agenda item J, oral communications, organizations, employee organizations. Do we have any speakers this evening?
Jay. No speakers, Madam
Thank
President.
you. Next is agenda item K, oral communications, hearing of the public. These are for items that are not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, I do. The first speaker is,
Hang on, we do have one virtually, Madam President.
Okay.
that's the one virtually.
Maria Elena Cepeda.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to take this time to acknowledge the land that we sit on that belongs originally to the Miwok, the Patwin, and the Maidu. That being said, I was hoping to just come and congratulate the board on all of the hard work that they've done in the last year, and I would like to do that. But that being said, what I heard tonight has continued to be a lot of disrespect. Our organization has been advocating for that specific area for years, and we have not seen this kind of passion come from the community with regards to issues that took place at Grant a few years back while one of the commenters was still on the board. There was no outcry from the community aside from the Spanish-speaking community. And honestly, this abuse is getting old and tired. The board has really tried to move past the dysfunction that was taking place prior when said board member was a part of the board. And it's really sad to hear threats being made against student safety if the board refuses to vote a certain way. This is completely out of hand, and it feels like you all only listen to certain groups, and it seems like the monolingual communities are not heard and are excluded. Someone commented with regards to the board not reflecting the community. Well, one of the speakers tonight actually has prevented the board from looking like the community every time they run, when someone from the community runs for a specific seat. Also, we just had, a year ago, a teacher do some really abusive things in the classroom, and a board member moved to make sure that the community was not involved in being aware of the disciplinary action that would take place because of that. So we're tired of the abuse. We're tired of being ignored while you all just play,
Thank you.
your friend.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Wayne Shepard.
Yes, can you guys hear me okay? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I want to say, first of all, greetings to you, board members. I want to thank you for your time and consideration to address our concern. My name is Reverend Wayne Shepard, and I am the pastor of the St. Matthew Christian Church in Sacramento, California. I speak on behalf of a host of pastors in the Oakdale and the school districts. We wish to express our supreme disappointment and chagrin over the removal of Dr. Roger as the principal of the Oakdale School. We are also just as upset over his removal as the lead person in the hands-on mentor program known as HOM. I'm sure you've heard over and over and over again how much Dr. Roger has contributed to and produced a positive
Again, thank you for allowing me to speak today, but I'm really on behalf as a parent, Oakdale community, that I just really feel like we're not getting answers. You know, I am a parent of a 7th grade who's entering the 8th grade, and there's just been a lot of issues going on since Dr. Roger has been gone, and I don't understand how we are supposed to be working for the children are so disconnected and we're not seeing eye to eye. Obviously, a lot of people here are talking about reinstating Dr. Raja, but we're not getting any answers. We have a break, and I know you want us to be professional. We want to show you that what's professional about taking their mentor away. They're taking their only person that they can talk to. He was doing remarkable, wonderful things for the school, and now it's going downhill. So I don't understand why we haven't had any word from you. Why don't we get a vote? What's going on? Can we get some type of answers? How long is this journey going to last where we keep coming and saying what we want and we're not getting anything? I just want to say it's time for us to come together and resolve this issue, because we want our kids to have a safe environment, a safe campus, somewhere where they're loved and respected and they're doing well. No fights. Better people that look like them, that be able to relate with them. And right now, I feel like we're not getting any answers. So I'm coming today to the board to ask, what are you doing and when are we going to hear anything back from you? Because I feel like this is a journey that we could just come together and say, hey, bring them back. So I'm asking, can we please stand together and bring Dr. Roger back for the sake of Oakdale scholars and our parents, single parents as well, that needs that extra help with our students.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time.
So do we know when we get an answer? I mean, I just want, can we at least say what happens after this?
We can't comment on personal issues.
Hold on, I can't hear.
We can't comment on personal issues, but I really appreciate your time.
Okay. I just know, and I apologize, but I just need to know, what do we do from this day forth? Because, you know, we're coming, this is my second time coming to the board meeting. What happens? What do we keep doing?
Understood. I'm going to have to ask for the next speaker, please. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, next speaker, come on.
Thank you. No. Where's the next, who's the next speaker?
Next speaker is Martha Jones.
Who is it?
Mataya.
That's my son.
Oh, Matthias?
You want to take his spot?
Come on
Yeah, I
up,
do.
young man.
Dr.
No,
Rogers has
excuse
reached out
me,
me.
excuse me.
Reached out to me. My
The-
name is
This
Regina
gentleman was
Wilcoxon.
speaking
I have
next.
family members that have went to Grant
Okay,
High
wait,
School.
what's your
My
name?
my grandmother is
Did you,
87 years
did you
old.
fill out a speaker card?
Excuse me? Yes,
Did
I
you-
do.
Can, just wait a minute.
We both gonna speak.
What, you don't want me to speak?
I didn't
can
say
speak
that.
to
I
me.
asked if
My
you
name
filled
on
out
there,
a
yeah,
speaker
Naomi.
card.
Okay, anyway, can I finish?
I asked
can
you a
speak with me.
question. Did you fill out a speaker card? Yes or
No,
no? We
she gonna
need to
speak with
find it
me.
in the
I didn't know I
list.
had to fill out a speaker card. I just told you, Regina Sharice Wilcoxon. Wilcoxon. I've graduated 3 times. I've graduated from medical school. I've graduated from Sacramento Job Corps. I've graduated from Kaplan College, and I've graduated from Central High School in Detroit, Michigan. My uncle is a pastor in Detroit, Michigan, and he was on the district school board in Michigan of Detroit. So he's used to working with youth. I'm used to working with youth. I do hair for kids in the Madison apartments. I do hair all across Sacramento. Children, single moms, married couples, all type of people. I help this community.
Just bring
So
Dr.
I'm here,
Rogers
yeah,
back.
I'm just here to say that Dr. Rogers, it has been an influence to my children. My children came from Yuba City. They're not used to fighting. They're not used to being disruptive. My kids had good grades, kept good grades. Since Dr. Rogers has left the school, they've gotten sad. They don't know what's going on. Everything is in a disarray. There's too much confusion. When he was there, all I'm saying is there was order with children. The children were nice, they felt safe, and they wanted to be at school. My kids are terrified to come to school in fear of a fight happening. My daughter's not used to this, neither one of them. My daughter has started a book club at Oakdale. She opened up that so the children could communicate and learn together without no fighting. So all I'm saying is, if there's a good example that wants to be there with these children and work with these children to help them get educated and learn and be able to help the community when they get older, get jobs, go to college, graduate, do something for their elders, do something for the youth, what is wrong with reinstating his job? Because he didn't do anything wrong. All I've seen him was working together with the staff there, with the community. I know how that community is, and I'm not going to go there, but there has been a difference. And I know because I lived in Sacramento for years. Since 2001, I've lived in Sacramento. I've lived in Yuba City for almost 2 years. And I came back to Sacramento because I know that my city needs me
Thank
to
you,
be an
ma'am.
example, a role model for our children.
Thank you, ma'am. That
'Cause
was
what's
your
gonna
2
happen when we
minutes.
get older? Who's gonna take care of us? That's all I'm
Thank
gonna say.
you. Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker.
Next speaker, where did that Matthias one? Matthias Jones, do you want to
He's an AP
speak?
champion.
Oh, he gave his time away? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The next speaker is Naomi Parley.
My name is Nevette Armstrong. I'm an 8th grade student that attended Oakdale. And I just want to say, before Dr. Rogers was there was a lot of fights, just a lot of arguing occurring. And I think maybe you guys should hear from an actual student who attended Oakdale instead of all these adults and you guys don't understand and get through your head. We need him back. Like, I'm going to high school next year, so I won't be there, but I still care for the other 500 students that's going to be there and go through the pain and suffering. There are constantly no teachers there. Dr. Roger always found the way for students and stuff for us to be there. He helped little programs. He tried to stop as much commotion and stuff. It was better. And then when he left, everything just went left. It got even worse when he left. There was more fights, more arguing, gun threats, threatening to shoot up the school, just a lot of stuff happening. And I would just like to ask if you guys can please bring it back. That's all we asked for an answer today. Please stop postponing the answers. We need him. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, ma'am. You did a great job. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Eleanor Oliver.
Good evening. I am here on a separate issue. My name is Eleanor Oliver, and I'm a parent of a future 4th grader at Garden Valley Elementary School, which just received the 2022 Pivotal Practice Award. I'm here to demand supportive action from this board, from this district, to go against the Councilman Harris homeless housing development, which is set to be located directly across the street from Garden Valley Elementary. Councilman Harris has ignored our concerns, from the Garden Valley parents to the staff, the principal, local businesses, and the residents that this will be impacting directly. Garden Valley is already located in what is considered a low-income and disadvantaged community, which in simple terms means we already work against so many factors to create a safe and healthy environment for not only our kids, but for each other. We have expressed our opposition for this homeless project in any form: hospice, transitional housing, supportive housing. This is not the right location. We prefer that our vacant lots across the street from Garden Valley be directly beneficial to our community, like a park, like a library, like a community center. They have done minimal outreach to us. They have lied and said that you, the board, are behind it, which I know is factually not the case. They're lying to the public, they're lying to the mayor, and they're trying to force this project on us without our consideration. We have legitimate safety and security concerns that need to be answered, and I'm asking you guys today to step in and halt this project. And I just want to let you guys know that besides the people that are here, half of the members are at the city meeting that is running concurrently. And you guys can look at the e-comments that there are over 100 opposing e-comments for this housing project.
Thank
Please
you,
protect
ma'am.
our kids.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Delia Tiempo, and we'll need a Spanish interpreter. Delia? Is there?
Mr. He's on.
En Spanish. Mi nombre es Delia. Mi hijo cursó el último sexto en Garden Valley, ¿verdad? Yo me opongo, vengo por a oponerme al building que quieren construir enfrente de la escuela. Señora Rebeca, yo me quiero referir con usted. Si tenemos muchos problemas porque el señor Harris no nos está dando apoyo, según se iba a hacer a un lado, se iba a hacer un parque para los niños para que tuvieran más concentración y todo eso, y no lo han hecho. Ustedes saben bien que ellos usan sustancias que no son legales y ellos no están bien en sus 5 sentidos. Dicen que son personas terminales que van a tomar un descanso y que quieren. Los niños no son de descanso. Ustedes saben que los niños tienen toda la energía y ocupan su lugar. En la mañana es demasiado tráfico. Entonces yo quiero que nos ayuden ustedes y que me tengan una respuesta. Si no pueden ayudarnos con las escuelas que estamos tratando de crecer en la comunidad, ¿cómo vamos a poder ayudar a ellos? Que son demasiadas cosas y necesidades que tienen. Dicen que en un comentario que pusieron ellos, que tengamos compasión de ellos. Exactamente. Si ellos son tan buenos, deberían de buscar un lugar específico donde los puedan tener, donde los puedan dar rehabilitación de doctor y de todo, porque realmente, ¿cómo pueden tener a ellos ahí si saben bien que los niños no pueden estar junto de ellos? Los niños van a hacer mucho ruido, el tráfico, hay muchos accidentes porque es un lugar comercial. Yo no sé cómo hablar con alguien y decir si la ciudad a veces no puede quitar toda la basura que nos llevaron hace unos 5 meses atrás. En cuanto ellos lleguen, yo sé que va a ser lo doble. ¿Se está tratando de cuidar las comunidades o se está tratando de ensuciarlas para saber si vamos a seguir ensuciando toda la comunidad? Porque ahorita vamos a sacar fotografías. Hace poquito llegaron unos 4 o 6 que llegan con demasiados carros de basura. Por favor, respóndame.
Mr. Barajas?
Yes. Hi, that was Delia. Her son just passed the 6th grade at Garden Valley, and she is opposed to the building the homeless center over there in front of Garden Valley. And I am addressing you, Ms. Rebecca. Mr. Harry is not supporting us. He was supposed to build a park for the kids, but that has not been done. Instead, there's a lot of drug use in the area. And we want answers. If, they can't help the school, how are they going to be able to help these people that have many different types of needs and serious needs? These people need a place where they can rehab, a quiet place, but next to the school, it's not going to be a quiet place. There's lots of noise, there's lots of traffic. They won't be able to get better. And the city can't even keep up with cleaning the trash around the school. So if they build this center, it's going to be even dirtier. So we are taking pictures of what's going on in the area, and there's a lot of cars that have dumped the trash recently.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alguien me va a responder en el siguiente meeting, que es algo que nos va a beneficiar, que ellos lleguen. Por favor, señora Rebeca, contésteme eso. If you somebody answer to my question, if you you guys doing there, if you don't support the people, if it's something better for this community, please tell me next appointment, please.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, and actually, I understand Mr. Shepard is on the phone.
Yeah. Mr. Shepard?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess you guys didn't hear me the first time. Hopefully this time I can get mine through. Okay, are you ready? Can you still hear me okay? Must be having technical difficulties.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, you can? Okay, thank you. Greetings to the board members. I want to thank you again for your time and consideration to address our concern. My name is Reverend Wayne Shepard, and I am the pastor of the St. Matthew Christian Church here in Sacramento, California. I speak on behalf of a host of pastors who are ready to put their marching shoes on, but I told them I don't think we have to do that just yet. And we represent the Oakdale as well as the Sacramento school districts. And we wish to express our supreme disappointment and chagrin over the removal of Dr. Kadir Roger as the principal of the Oakdale School. We are also just as upset over his removal as the lead person of the hands-on mentor program. I'm sure, as well as a matter of fact, we know that you've heard over and over and over again, Dr. Roger has contributed to and produced a positive impact to many various school districts, as well as the community at large. These districts and communities were all challenged with poverty, crime, visible sex, trafficking, drugs, and more. Our youth and young adults suffered the most from these negative challenges. Dr. Rogers stepped in with his impeccable talents and ability to relate to these challenged individuals, and he was instrumental in helping to turn them around, as well as saving many lives. In a world where every day we hear, see, and experience negative political maneuvers that are severely hurting everyone, and especially our youth, I pray that this board will do its part to not be associated with these maneuvers. And please make right this wrong by reinstating Dr. Roger as principal of the Oakdale School and lead person of the hands-on mentor program. Thank you very much. As we, the pastors, for the reinstatement of Dr. Roger, want to humbly anticipate your positive outcome on this matter. Thank you so much. God
Thank you,
bless.
Thank you, Mr. Shepard. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Antonio Parra, and we'll need a Spanish interpreter.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Antonio Lara. Muchas gracias por venirnos a escuchar. Yo vivo enfrente de la escuela Garden Valley. Ahí va mi niño. Nosotros queremos que nos hagan el favor de que no se apruebe esto del building para estas personas. Hemos estado teniendo bastantes problemas. Se meten a la comunidad donde vivimos. Se han robado cosas, han hecho cosas indecentes enfrente de los niños. Bastantes jeringas tiradas de las que ellos usan. Y la verdad ya estamos cansados. La semana pasada le tomé una foto a una persona de ellas. Me quiso como atacar. Y pues la verdad más que nada lo estamos haciendo por nuestros niños. Queremos que nuestra comunidad siga como está. Basura nos tienen por donde quiera basura. Nosotros somos una comunidad que tratamos de estar lo mejor posible que se puede. Y pues queremos una respuesta. Eso es todo y muchísimas gracias. Que tengan buena tarde.
Thank you, Mr. Barajas.
Good evening. That's Antonio Lara. He lives in front of Garden Valley. His child attends Garden Valley. And please do us a favor and do not approve the construction for the project for these people. They have robbed people in the community. They have done indecent acts in front of kids. There's a lot of syringes on the ground. And last week I took a photo of somebody that was doing something in front of the school, and they wanted to attack me. So please do this for the kids. And yeah, please have our voices heard, and we want the best for the community.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Brianna Morales.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I am here as someone who is a member of the South Natomas community. And I have seen direct impacts of homelessness in the community as it is. I've seen a lot of substance abuse from them. And they have been just doing indecent acts in front of the students. And I've seen the impact of how the area is because of the homelessness that's surrounding the area. And I come here just for an answer. I come that you guys give us an answer for these issues that we're experiencing with the students, but not only for the students, but also we do not want the facilities to be built in front of an elementary school. I don't know if you guys are judging yourselves, but I know I would not want my child to be exposed to these people who are terminally ill, of course, and on these drugs. And I just don't think it's a good idea to have it there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time. Next speaker, please.
Teresa Marcias. Teresa Marcias, she not here, okay. Maria Vivalda.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak again. You folks went into a closed session, and when you came out, you said you had nothing, no reportable action. And so I'm not sure what you're waiting for from the community. If you don't want the students to walk out, if you don't want parents to protest, if you don't want to get sued, you need to take action. You need to do something now, today. You need to reinstate Dr. Raja today, now. Every moment, every minute that you delay, you're putting yourself more liable. And I think that's what, I think it needs to be put in those terms. And I don't know if you need all the students to walk out simultaneously. If that's what it takes, you're really putting the decision in the hands of the parents, in the hands of the students. Because of your inaction, you're putting all of the decision in the hands of the students and in the hands of the parents. And you're leaving us no other choice but to take action ourselves. And so your inaction is a call for us to take action. And so please don't do that because we don't want to. I mean, you guys are really going to end up getting sued, and it's a very large liability for you. And so I don't wish that for you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Marilio Martinez.
Hola, mi nombre es Marilio Martinez y la razón de mi visita, gracias por recibirnos. Quisiera decirles, vengo a hablar como una madre triste, frustrada, de que queremos algo bueno para la comunidad. Pónganse en nuestro lugar, hay que tomar conciencia, son nuestros hijos, hay que cuidar tus hijos, mis hijos y los de todos los de los demás. Y por seguridad hay que evitar el peligro, no para cuando ya está el peligro y sea demasiado tarde. Vengo para ver si nos pueden apoyar porque este proyecto no es de ahora, ya es de tiempo. Hace 3 años que estamos con esta batalla y qué mejor que tengamos el apoyo de todos ustedes por la seguridad de sus hijos, de nuestros hijos y de toda la comunidad. Por favor, les quiero pedir de todo corazón que paren este proyecto. Yo sé que hay gente de corazón y que se los agradezco, pero está en un lugar equivocado. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Mr. Barajas?
Mariela, I am a sad and frustrated mom. I want the good, I want the best for the community. And put yourself in our position and think about what our kids are going to go through. We want the best for our kids. We want our kids to avoid danger. We want to avoid this whole danger and not have to deal with it. We've been battling with this for the last 3 years, and we want the support from all the community. And I'm asking from the bottom of my heart to please stop this project.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to agenda item L1, present and adopt resolution numbers 1081 and 1082, ordering an election in the district to authorize the issuance of school bonds and requesting consolidations with other elections occurring in November 8th, 2022. Dr. Coates?
All right, well, good evening, President Rivas, Board, Superintendent Martinez, staff, and the public. I'm here tonight and I am not alone. We do have some experts here as well. I have Chris Hyatt, who is one of our financial advisors, and I have John Barassi, our underwriter, and Courtney Jones and Chick Adams they are on Zoom. They're bond counsel. And so tonight, as President Rivas just shared, we're here to present 2 measures for a call to election for a bond for the November 22 election. So we're going to discuss possible options, some 2022 voter information, assess values, projects that would be included in the bonds. This is a basic repair bond, and what the next steps would be should we move forward. I'm like, are you moving that, Manuel? Okay. All right, so students in Twin Rivers should be able to come to school and not worry about bad water, toilets that don't work, or tripping over the pavement. And so really this is the spirit of the bond and the 2 measures for consideration tonight. We want something that is predictable. So we are recommending the approval of a resolution to call the election on November 8th in that general election. There are 2 measures, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. One is a high school, middle school, plus there's an elementary measure that collectively would generate about $270 million in revenue that would help us provide basic repairs to our schools. And so we know that good facilities really help create a consistent, comfortable, reliable learning environment. They help us attract and retain great teachers. They allow us to provide facilities for that give us healthy, delicious meals for all of our students and foster these welcoming learning and environments that our students deserve. So here is the resolution 1081 on tonight's agenda, as well as the ballot language. I won't read it all to you, but you can see that the middle high school, the focus is health and safety, and again, basic repair, really focusing on clean air, upgrading and replacing electrical systems, providing safe drinking water. This assessed value would generate $120 million for revenue to make these types of repairs. The elementary SFID resolution and ballot language is here as well. The total for this, so similar basic repairs, really making sure that we're upgrading infrastructure for, again, the warm, safe, and dry environment. This would generate about $150 million in bonds. So the bond projects that would be prioritized under these measures would be to ensure that students have clean and safe drinking water, that we would limit the exposure to asbestos, lead pipes, lead paint, that we would replace faulty electrical systems and gas lines, that there are safe playgrounds and blacktops, that we have kitchen facilities that are designed for healthy meals, and then we have clean air, functioning heating, ventilation, and cooling. So here is our district map. There are two measures on the ballot tonight. One is in the red outline, that is the high school, middle school, and so that does cover everyone. And when we say the elementary SFID, you can see that, and we all know that Alberta Joint, or Alberta Elementary District and Rolla District are not part of this. And so when we put a measure forward, we do pull them out of those for the elementary district. So we did some polling over the last 3 weeks, which was timely just given our current state. We knew that inflation was starting to kind of hit people at home, and still we had very strong support for both the elementary and the high school, middle school measures. The high school, middle school bond measure polled with 69% supporting the bond, with the elementary SFID with coming in at 71%. So it was very much that language that you saw with strong support from parents in the district. Women voters of color were particularly supportive to really upgrade those and make those basic repairs. Here are a snapshot of voters' top priorities. You can see providing clean and safe drinking water pulled very high at 83%, removing asbestos, mold, and lead paint at 81%, repairing electrical wiring, et cetera. So all pulled very high as projects that were really important to our community. So the next slides are going to break down our assessed value, and these are all of the numbers that I'm going to share tonight are at 100,000, or the cost per 100,000. So based on the median assessed value for a single family home in the high school, middle school territory, it's just over 190,000. For the elementary territory, it's about 189,000. And these numbers are annual payments unless I say otherwise. So for the elementary school SFID specifically, again, the bond would generate about $150 million of revenue. That tax rate is $37 per 100,000 for assessed value. So at that $100,000 rate, that's about $3 a month that they would be paying for that elementary school measure. And then the high school and middle school generates a little bit less at 120 million. That tax rate per 100,000 of assessed value is 23. So the approximate monthly value on that 100,000 is $1.91 per month. When you combine those measures, so if you live in an area that has both of them, we're generating that $270 million for the basic repairs. That tax rate is $60 per every 100,000, and that's approximately $5 per month on the $100,000 assessed value rate. So how do we prioritize the project? The board approved long-range facility plan, which we update annually, outlines 4 key priority areas. So the focus for this bond as its basic repairs really lies in and I'll read this up here, but the priority 1 is what we must do. It's for legal and safety reasons, it's critical replacements and growth. There are areas that are really disruptive. And so we need to prioritize them and do them right away. And then priority 2 is like what we should do, the meeting the program needs, the life cycle replacement, making sure that we are able to provide preventative maintenance for issues so we don't have continued HVAC problems into the future. So that is what these monies would really be focused on. So here's the same slides right here. So the top line is what the total need is for priorities 1 and 2. So that 135 million on your left, that's the cost estimate as of 2021 of what it would take to district-wide address everything in priority 1. The 328 million next to that is district-wide, what we would need to have to address the projects in priority 2. So that's a total of $463 million. The bond here, the 2 measures that we have that are being considered tonight would generate 270 million. We've also already allocated about 50 million to HVAC replacement. So we have, should this go through, we would be generating $320 million of revenue to really address almost all of the needs in priorities 1 and 2. So that would be quite significant for the need of the district. So from today, should this go through, we have basically until July 6th to provide our notice to the counties that we are calling an election, and we would file that with the registrar of voters office. From June to July, we would put together an election committee, and then from July to November, we'd really be doing that work, and then we would get to election day in November. Should those measures pass, we'd be able to issue bonds as early as January, February of 2023.
And Kristen, I know you have some folks there on Zoom. I think it's important that we share the work that's been done in our refinancing and how much money we've saved taxpayers over the years. We've talked about it in what we've done in the past, but I think it's important to bring that forward tonight.
Absolutely. And John, if you could speak to that. This is John Barrissey from Raymond James.
Hi, good evening, members of the board and Dr. Coates. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So yes, going back the past several years, you've taken advantage of a low interest rate environment. During the COVID crisis, we've had interest rates at almost historically low levels. The district refinanced approximately $60 million of outstanding bonds that generated just under $12 million in savings to the district taxpayers, meaning that taxes go down and the interest that you're paying on your bonds are lower by $12 million. So that's a very significant savings that you see, and higher than average when we take a look at these types of programs. And looking forward, should you move forward with this program, looking to next spring, you will also have another opportunity for, let's see, it's the 2014 refunding bond issue that will be able to be refinanced on what we call a tax exempt basis. And there's approximately $25 million of outstanding bonds with respect to that issue. And it's a little bit difficult to give you, a sense of where we would be today just because of interest rates. And as you mentioned, the inflationary period, it is definitely very volatile out there. But, generally speaking, you'd see, savings somewhere in the $1 million or above range net of all costs. So hopefully that would be something that you can take a look at in the future if you move forward with this bond and it passes.
Thanks, John.
President, we do have public comment on this item.
The first, I want to make sure Dr. Coates is done with her presentation. Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, our speaker on this issue is Sharon Wright.
Hello. Hello, good evening.
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello, good evening, board members and Superintendent Presentation. I'm calling this evening just to make sure that there is community presence. It's very troubling that you didn't have enough confidence in the proposed bond measure to consider community engagement for this presentation to those that will be responsible for paying this bond over this long period of time. The lack of outreach and inclusion is somewhat indicative of municipalities' culture, especially in areas that have been historically marginalized. When a similar bond request was before us years ago, we expressed concerns. Trustee Okara made sure that we had a seat at the table to ask questions and engage in the decisions being made that directly impact us. The Robles School District is an example of what can happen when you partner with communities that you serve. Robles residents passed not one, but 2 bonds to improve facilities of 5 elementary schools. Take a drive and look at transparency, accountability, and accomplishments of a school district and community partnership. We are concerned about investing in additional bonds without engagement and understanding the commitment prior to it being on the ballot. You don't sign off on a loan without understanding the terms. So if you vote to support this tonight, we ask that you commit to community engagement before the November ballot timeline. And in looking at the presentation timeline, community engagement is actually missing.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Greg Jefferson.
Good evening, board and board president and superintendent. I think that putting the bond before the trustees without to vote on is not fair to the trustees, because the presentation said, like the caller said, that there was a poll taken. So when I first got wind of this, it was today. And some of those who made the decision to do this poll or to participate in the, even the guy, John, that spoke, they're not the taxpayers. They're not going to be footed with this bill. We are. The people who were in this room earlier, if they were homeowners, they are. I called that was the president of the Robles Association that you just heard. I called the Noralto Association, Gordon Liu. I called the Ben Ali Association, Sandra Betancourt, and I called Ross Hendricks of the Del Paso Heights Association. I said, hey, did you guys hear about a bond proposal being brought to the trustees tonight? No. Did any of your constituents, any of the residents come to you and say they were surveyed or filled out a survey regarding $270 million bond? They said no. I think that to put this forth to the board is premature, and that the board you are creating an adversarial position for the board, because then they're going to have to explain to the voters how the measure got put on the ballot and none of them knew about it. How are they going to explain that to their constituents if you have them vote on that? So I think there needs to be some more community engagement and talk about it and the ramifications of it before it's brought to the trustees. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. Next speaker, please. That's it. Okay, nobody on the line.
If the board would like some clarification on who was called, we can supply that, because the folks that were called were I think was the list off of basic voters who voted last time that live in each constituent area. Some were Democrat, some were Republican, women, men. I mean, it was a cross section of our communities. And it was a pretty fair sample, but we can provide you with that information. And again, polling's done just to give us a snapshot of what the general district, the pulses of the general district. We didn't call a specific association. That's understandable, but our goal is that if the board approves this bond tonight, that's exactly what we're going to do. We will reach out to all these associations, reach out to all these community members so that they know exactly what's going to be on the ballot, what kind of work we're going to do, and what they can expect to see different at school sites. I think it's fact that when you walk our school sites that they do need improvement. It's fact that we do need HVAC. It's fact that we had 3 schools who have broken sewer lines this year. We had other schools that have broken gas lines this year. It's fact that our buildings are 60 years old, and our average building is 60 years old. I mean, we have old facilities, and so we think it's important to bring this forward, and so that we have safe, clean schools for our kids. And bottom line is that when our teachers show up, they can expect everything to work properly and create the right conditions so our kids can learn. So, but our goal to the speaker, we're going to do all the outreach, and we're going to do everything that we can so everyone feels good about what we're doing and they know exactly how this money is going to be spent.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments from the board?
I have some comments.
Ms. Fowler?
First of all, I want to preface my statement to say that I'm an absolute avid supporter of voter rights. Whenever each of us signed up to take a position on this board, we gave our community a choice. You could either be elected or defeated. I think that's what we need to do right now. We should give our community the choice. Do you want facilities that will be workable? Do we want facilities that our students can be proud of? Do we want our educational system to be looked at like other systems are, to be in good operations? Those are choices that our community should be able to make. I don't think that we as board members ought to put our own personal preferences at board. We should give them, our community, the right to vote. Right now, excuse me, our facilities are old. And when we talk about old, I know about old. So I'm an expert on being old, okay?
I didn't say it.
Grant High School was built when I was about 5 years old. Think about it. Do the math. It's been around a long time. It was during World War II, which was a long time ago. I got several emails not too long ago, actually just a couple months ago, telling us, and I think the other board members had the same thing, about how bad the restrooms are. It takes money to fix those kind of things. When we are asking our community to do things for us, we're asking them to support our students, not whether or not we want to be selfish about other things, but can our students have a district, come from a district where they can, with pride, say, we had a good district. We didn't have to suffer in the heat. We didn't have to suffer in the cold because we were provided a good environment to learn. Is that what we want? Whenever I went on that and embarked on this crazy idea to unify this district, one of the things I wanted was for our district to be as good as or better than any other district in the area. And in order to do that, it takes the community support. In order to do that, it takes money. And, you know, I think that even when all of our communities need to have the kind of pride that we have in other districts. Think about, we have a district to the far south of our area that has a really great community place for the arts. We don't have anything like that. And yet we have to go to Roseville to give our kids any kind of privileges to be able to perform. Is that really what we want for our school? Is that really what we do that our kids deserve? You see, I'm pretty biased. I think that our kids are as good as, and some of them are even really better than other kids. And we should promote those kind of things. So when we're looking at whether we want to pay for something or not, it's really interesting whenever we have complaints from our individual people in the district, the HVAC isn't working. So what do? We can't cut teacher salaries. We can't cut these board salaries. We can't cut all of these other kind of things just to put HVAC in there, because there would be really a lot of loud screaming if we did something like that. We need the funds. And it's really interesting whenever anybody wants to build something, provide something that's good, everybody's really up for it. But then you start talking about money and the whole thing goes away. So I'm going to support this bond. I may be the only one. I don't know, because I haven't talked to any of them. But I believe that in order for us to really have a district that's going to be as good as any other comparable district here, that we need to put our money where our mouth is and ask the voters of our community, do you want this or don't you want it? And they can go to the ballot box and say, I think Linda Fowler is all wet. We shouldn't be doing anything like this. She's old. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Forget it. But they can vote no, because if we have the privilege of putting this on the ballot, they can absolutely look at everything. It'll be very transparent. We'll have workshops, we'll have community meetings, we'll have everything, and they can make up their mind then. They can make up their mind to whether or not they're going to have it. I think the kids in Del Paso Heights, the kids in Foothill Farms, the kids in Woodlake, the kids in Rio Linda, they all should have that same kind of privilege that everyone else has got it. So with that, I'm going to close, but my vote will be yes.
Kristen, before we move on to more, thank you, Trustee Feller. Before we move on to more comments, can you just briefly describe the role of the bond committee and the opportunity that board members will have to appoint people as far as the oversight that the bond committee will provide?
Yeah, it is an opportunity to have, folks and representatives from the area provide some input and really kind of help refine and kind of articulate the campaign, really help go to inform voters, help them better understand what the projects, how it would benefit each of their schools, ask questions and get it back to the staff so we could you produce presentations or FAQs or put out information that would be helpful to make an informed decision in November.
And I'm sorry, I was talking about the bond oversight committee. So not, if you can touch on that.
Absolutely. Yes. So the bond oversight committee is, I think there's a few things with the bond that are important. The bond oversight committee is represents it's similar to the 7-Eleven committee. If you were familiar or part of that, where you are representing different areas, community members, business person, your parent, etc. They aren't necessarily trustee area specific, but they provide the oversight. They we meet throughout the year, provide an annual update to make sure that what we're doing is what we say we're going to do with the voters. And so that's a really important component. They hear the audit before it comes to the board for an annual approval. And so that would come forward once we have a approved measure in November. Then that committee would be formed within the next 60 days and provide that oversight to ensure that we are using those funds appropriately.
Thank you, Dr. Coates. Mrs. Jefferson?
Yes, and I guess for me and the folks that I've been talking to, because they've been calling, their whole thing with this is, if you're going to bring a bond to put it on the ballot, I guess the community just wanted to be given notice, not in the way you did it in a nebulous, what do you call that, a survey. I mean, they want to be contacted. I live in Del Paso Heights. I didn't get a survey and I'm on the board. So, and we have 3 bonds now that we're paying for. And so right now, our housing costs for our house, we started out a year ago, it was 200,000 and now it's gone up to 400,000. So our taxes have gone up, water, sewer, garbage has gone up, SMUD and PG&E has gone up, and they're talking today about us being into a recession in a little while. I mean, those are the things that the people in my community are talking about. Like you said, yes, you can get a vote, but I just think so that we can be more transparent with this district, you don't put the cart before the horse. Go out to the community first and see if you get a feel, you know, let the communities have a little bit of input, that's all. And I guess that's where a lot of folks that were calling me today were saying that they didn't even know this was even being considered. So now they do get, if it's voted on tonight, I can't vote on it because mine will be a no, because you didn't give our community an opportunity to really say yay or nay, whether we wanted to even put this on the ballot. So you know, I hear what Linda said, in the best of both worlds, that's a wonderful thing. And I would love to see our schools do all of that. But we also have to be practical and with the people that live in our district and know that they have issues too. And a lot of our folks are elderly, they're on fixed incomes. You got to take that into, those are the people that are going to be paying for these bonds. So all of that taken into consideration today, because we weren't given very much notice, it'll be a no for me. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Jefferson. Mr. Baker?
Thank you, Madam President. I wasn't given the opportunity to vote on the last bond because of fires burning, literally. But I think school safety is what's really on everybody's mind right now. I can tell you that the last bond that came forward, I think both the president and I can speak that Foothill Farms was adamantly against it. We received several phone calls in regards to Foothill Farms. Trustee Sandoval and I think for the most part live where we compete for kids every day. Our neighborhood, probably half of our kids go to Del Campo High School. And I think probably half of Trustee Sandoval's either go to Natomas or Intercom or Mariloma. I drove by Del Campo High School when we were talking about the bond. I see why. I really see why. And we gave Maddox a decision, Foothill, Del Campo, Capital Christian, Creative Connections, or Relinda. And he chose Foothill because he sees me wearing orange and black every day. Had that not been the case, he probably would have chose Del Campo. They passed the bond, and now it is going to be harder. And we all know how much I love Foothill. We all know how much Trustee Rivas loves Foothill. We all know how much Stacy loves Relinda. We know how much Rebecca loves Grant and how much Christine loves Grant and Linda loves Grant. My biggest fear is that we're going to continue to lose kids from Foothill to Del Campo. Let's just be honest. My neighborhood this bond probably won't affect it as much as it's going to affect Trustee Sandoval's or Trustee Fowler's. For the most part, we have some of the newer schools in the district. But I think it's time. I think it's time that the people of North Natomas finally get the high school they deserve. And I hope that's included in this bond. I think it's time that the kids that go to Grant High School get the high school that they deserve. I think the kids that go to Foothill High School in Orlinda and Highlands get the school that they deserve. I pride myself that we have 5 of us that graduated from our schools. 5 of us. I think that's pretty awesome. But to continue to have pride and keep our schools safe is going to take money. I think that when I was elected to be the neighborhood association president of my neighborhood, my predecessor warned me, never speak as the neighborhood association president and as the trustee at the same time. I think this is probably the one and only time I'll go against her on this and say that my neighborhood has faith and trust in their neighborhood association president and their trustee to put this on the ballot and put it in their hands. Either they're going to vote for it or they're not. But I am not going to deny their right to vote. I'm not going to have something horrific happen at one of our high schools and know that a fence or something that a bond could have put there could have prevented that. This is going to, I'm 110% supportive. This is going to live or die with our voters of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Any other questions or comments from the board? Ms.
Yes,
Sandoval?
I know there's concern that this would be an increase in taxes for individuals, and what was it, like 420 million, something like that. That sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But when you look at the amount that our homeowners would be paying, we are looking maybe $5. You know, it's not a huge amount. And I've been on this board for 10 years, and people come forward and they outlined the problems and the way our schools look. A while back, I remember you pointing out that I took my grandson to Pleasant High School, Pleasant Valley High School in Elk Grove, where my nephew teaches. My grandson was going to Grant at that time. We drove up and tears stung my baby's eyes because our schools don't look anything like that. And this is our opportunity to make the necessary improvements, to create some state-of-the-art program facilities. And I'm definitely going to be a yes vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bastian, did you have any comments?
Yes, I did. Thank you, President Rivas. I wanted to say that on the polling, I did get several calls that they were polled, and they questioned me about the bond at that time. And I also looked at the polling results, and it was almost about 50%. So I then spoke to some of my community members, and again, it reaffirmed that we're about 50%. Some were for it, some were very against it, but what mostly, I think it's misunderstood at the moment. I really look forward to some community engagement, which I've spoken to the district about. I have also served on a committee, such as a 7-Eleven committee, student housing committee, and I look forward to the bond oversight committee, because I know we have some amazing community members that will be on that committee that can be a reflection of other communities and mine, and also give me some insight as well that I'd greatly appreciate it. Lately, I've visited several of our schools, multiple areas, and there's many in disarray, especially I know I've spoken about the HVAC systems. And I'm really strong in a learning environment facilities for our students, and safety. I'm really strong on that. And the more I did the research on this, I feel that this bond is important to those 2 items. And I really feel that my community will speak out, especially the turnout that we had at our last election. So I would, since it's 50-50, it's very close. I want to give them the opportunity, my community, the opportunity to speak to committee members and to really know this bond. And if they choose to vote on it, then they will vote on it. And if they don't, and it's a no, then it's a no. But I really feel giving them the opportunity and the choice is important at this time. And I look forward to the district really engaging the community in all the education of the bond and reaffirming that transparency.
Thank you, Ms. Bastian. And it's no secret that last time I wasn't supportive when it came about, but a couple of things have changed. One of it, I believe in the goal of this bond, which is health and safety, for all the reasons that have already been stated here. And I very much remember the parents who came and they were sharing with us that their kids were going to school with blankets. And like, okay, how would I feel if that was my kid? I would not be very happy about that. Or hearing from parents that their kids are melting in the classrooms because there's no AC. And I don't hear from a lot of parents, frankly, on anything. But the few times I do hear from people in my community, it's usually about those types of issues, HVAC. There's no heat, there's no air in the classroom. So for me, again, it's a health issue for our kids that's, we need to deal with, and we don't have the money to take care of everything without the bond. So I think this bond is responsible and the way it's being put together, and I'm confident that the community will have a lot of opportunity for input on what this is going to look like, and having the oversight committee, et cetera. So for me, that's really what's doing it for me. Is this is really a necessity. It's not pie in the sky. We want all this fancy stuff. Sure, we all want it, but we can't really afford it. But this stuff is really affecting our kids in their classrooms, and that's a problem. So, Mr. Okara.
Yes. Lower my hand down. Okay. All right. So looks like I'm the last to speak on this issue. I've been dealing with bonds for a long time. I saw firsthand. I served as the chair of the Los Rios Bond Oversight Committee for several years. It was over $400 million. I saw firsthand the buildings. We would tour the buildings after they were complete. New buildings, modernization projects. I saw how it impacted students. And then when I first got elected in 2016, on my first meeting, we had a vote on the bond. And it was scary as a new board member. And there was a lot of pressure. But during my campaign, I made it clear to the community that I would never make a big decision without discussing it with the community. So, we tried again in 2018. We had advance notice that we would vote on the bond. Vice Mayor Ashby and myself, we held town halls in the community. We brought the heads of the community associations from Area 5, including Robla, Valdez Acres, Regency, Heritage Park, Northern Thomas Community Association, to the district. Met with the superintendent and the admin, and everything was explained to them and answered their questions. And we also had in-district meetings. And at that time, we were, in 2018, we were short to pass it by one vote. Now, I understand the urgency of the bond. However, in 2022, we did not have the same advance notice that we had in 2018. So as soon that the agenda was announced and the bond resolutions were included, I reached out to the heads of the community associations in Area 5. I had to check with our leaders, I had to check with our taxpayers, and even with some of them, we analyzed our tax bills and how many bonds that we're paying. District 5 residents pay over $600 in bonds, and so many actually in Regency Park pay over $750 on 4 bonds. Robla pays also on 4 bonds because recently they passed a Robla Elementary school bond for their district. So in the Thomas, we're looking at, if a home is worth $500,000, they're going to pay around $300 annually. For Robla, so $60, it's almost $60 per 100,000 assessed value. In Robla, it'll be $23 per 100,000 assessed, because we're separating out the elementary and the junior high and high school because they have their own elementary district. For them, they're going to be paying somewhere between 75 to 90 annually. Now, District 5, and I'll try to speed this up. District 5 is the fastest growing region. We have a new development with thousands of new homes in the pipeline. The good news is that we'll have a new K-8 without a bond. And the good news is that we'll have a new Norwood Junior High cafeteria without a bond. And I appreciate the district and the board members for making that happen, for passing those resolutions. We in Area 5 currently only have 2 campuses, the Regency campus and Norwood Junior High. They're the 2 newest schools in the district, which will require the least amount of funds to modernize compared to other parts of the district. $270 million is way more than what the community associations in Area 5 agreed in 2018, around the 200 million mark with the support to having ENEC. Now, all the community associations supported equity and supported and dilapidated schools throughout the district that we could modernize them and fix them. Heritage Park, a senior community with no children in the district, yet they supported a bond for Twin Rivers. Robla, which has their own elementary school district bond, they recently passed it. They pay on 3 other bonds. Robla is a working class neighborhood with many on fixed income. Despite that, they supported the bond. So colleagues, I'm blessed to represent a district that believes in equity, a district that believes in supporting the 6 other districts in Twin Rivers. We're the fastest growing district while we're losing ADA due to loss of students from many parts of over the 50 school sites. Not only do we not have a high school in Area 5, we have half of a high school built, which is called the East Natomas Educational Complex, ENEC. And so we really need to complete this eyesore in the community, which reminds us that millions of dollars were spent to build this out, and it was never completed. And I want to just read a message from our Vice Mayor, Angelique Ashby. She says, I want to help as many school sites as possible while balancing what communities can afford, but ENEC cannot be left behind. It's a promise that needs to be kept, long overdue. Investment in schools has to be a priority for our region. I'm hopeful that the trustees will find a pathway forward tonight for all our kids. So in order to be fair to Area 5 and the rest of the districts and to move this bond forward, I'll make a motion right now. And before I make the motion, I just want to say that, we would like ENEC to be a priority 1. And priority 1 is year 1 through 5. And we know it's not a priority. It's not going to be in year 1 or year 2. We believe the HVAC and the safety issues are the biggest, concerns right now, and we need to focus on that. Yet within the 5-year scope, we hope that phase 1, we would like to include phase 1. We're not talking about the complete campus of ENEC, but we're talking about phase 1 of ENEC and the hope that we can get some matching bond funds from the state of California if that gets passed. And so, because I feel that this is a window that we won't get again for at least a decade. We will not get an opportunity to pass another bond. The taxpayer will not do that, especially with the talk of recession and stagflation and all that. Folks are scared, and I don't see us having another bond anytime soon. So this is our window. We do have a window right now. And as I explained to the heads of the community associations in my area, is that they said, well, 270 is a lot, and it's more than what we agreed to last time. But I told them that it will keep increasing. I mean, this is 4 years, right? This is over 4 years from 2018. It will continue. The needs are going to continue increasing. And so we need, so increasing to 270, and including ENEC in priority 1, like I said, but we understand that it'll be towards the later of that period because it's priority 1 is from year 1 to 5. I like to make a motion that we include ENEC in priority 1. Phase 1. So it's not the entire, we understand it's not the entire campus. We're going to be fair. But I would like to make a motion to include ENEC as priority 1 to be included in this resolution for the staff to include that language in there.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Mrs. Jefferson? So
Now, could you repeat?
what Mr. Alcara is asking is that we approve the resolution with the addition of adding phase 1 of ENEC to the priority list after all of the other projects that are of urgency, the HVAC, et cetera, are done, but the ENEC is included.
Okay, thank you.
In priority 1. So it could be on the tail end,
Correct.
year 3, year 4. Yeah, thank you.
Correct. So that's the motion. And it has been seconded.
Motion made by trustee Okara, seconded by trustee Baker.
Okay, we're putting restrictions on the bond is what you're trying to do?
No, we're adding ENEC because currently ENEC is not included. So it's adding ENEC, phase 1 of ENEC.
If there's money left over.
Is there money for Enoch?
This
It-
270 will include phase one of ENAC.
Well, will that, how much?
And
of
and I want to
that-
add also, and I want to clarify that the hope is that the state of California is going, and this has to happen. The state of California needs to pass a statewide bond, and we will qualify. For additional bond funds to be able to do, not maybe, to help with phase one, possibly phase two, and support other projects in the district. So we'll need to get that off the ground in order to get matching funds from the state. Otherwise, we're going to lose that opportunity.
All right.
Is that a fact, Dr. Martinez, in that the state will give us any kind of funds because of that?
We do have language in the resolution, if I may, on state matching funds, that would be a priority and we would match to optimize the funds. I do want to ask bond counsel if we would need to bring the resolution back specifically with ENIC included as a project rather than amend it. So Courtney or Chick, are you available to respond to that?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know if you can see me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I will tell you, to my mind, this is a separate motion. I think you have the resolutions in front of you. I don't have a problem with making a separate motion to establish the prioritization for this project. I think it can be considered as part of the bond measure that's in front of the board tonight. But to my mind, it's a separate motion. We do not specify priorities in the resolution.
So is it possible, so can we vote on that first, that motion first, and then vote on the resolution second?
I would be
Mr.
fine
Adams?
with that. I would be
Okay.
fine with that, yes.
I don't think we have to follow, I mean, we can change the motion to anything we want. We're the 7 elected representatives of this district.
Well, but there's still laws we have to abide
Yeah,
by. So,
but I think
so
that's fair. Trustee Baker, I think that's
let's
fair.
take council's advice.
Yeah.
Well, it's my understanding that matching funds from the state would not be the same as if it was a brand new project, because Grant kind of screwed it up. Kind of.
Yeah.
And we did, and we did lose, I mean, this was before my time, but my understanding was that we did leave matching bond funds on the table during that early period when they were building it, which, it was a waste, unfortunately. And we're suffering from it now, but this is kind of a way to undo that. And so I hope that, we'll follow the advice of Mr. Adams and vote on my motion first, and then we'll vote on the resolution after that.
Okay.
Why don't we vote on these two resolutions as clean ones, and then whatever we want to do for the other money, it could be amended at the next.
I think Mr. Okar would be more comfortable to vote on that tonight. Correct, Mr. Okar?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we will vote on the motion made by Mr. Okara to add Enoch to the list of priorities to the bond proposal, and that's phase one of the Enoch. So may I have a
There's already
second?
been a motion in a second.
Okay,
Motion made by trustee Okara, seconded by Baker. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's a no.
Thank you. So now we will move on the other resolutions. So resolution number 1081 and 1082, ordering an election in the district to authorize the issuance of school bonds and requesting consolidations with other elections occurring on November 8th, 2022. May I have a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Was it?
Rebecca, yeah.
Sandoval. And then Baker. Okay, motion made by trustee Sandoval, seconded by trustee Baker. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
Aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's a no.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the discussion. and respecting one another's opinions. I really appreciate that about the board. So thank you. And thank you, Dr. Coach. Thank you, Dr. Martinez. Next is agenda item, I made a mess of my, I think it's L2, adopt resolution number 1079 to pay absent board member Michelle Rivas.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Fowler. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas,
I'll abstain.
abstain. Trustee, let's see, where am I? Trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's an aye.
Thank you. Next is agenda item L3, adopt resolution number 1080 to pay absent board member Christine Jefferson. May I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Fowler. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas,
Aye.
trustee Baker,
Aye.
trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson all abstain. And motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Next is agenda item M1, public hearing and review local control accountability plan. Mr. Burke.
All right. Good evening, President Rivas and trustees. Dr. Martinez is here. I'm excited to present our annual update of our local control and accountability plan. We had many educational partner opportunities this year. There's a list of them up here that are a sampling from a variety of the different groups we met with in different advisory committees and other standing committees. And of course, our school sites and expanding out to our students this year. With that, we were able to increase our participation up to almost 8,961 participants this year. That's up from just over 4,000 last year. So great turnout this year. And you can see the parents and students were increased greatly. So their voices were heard many times across the year. From that educational partner input, we had a number of different themes that came out of those meetings. A couple of them we heard quite a few of were the focus on CTE programs and concurrent enrollment that came out a lot. Additionally, the expansion of VAPA and the arts, the appreciation for what we already do, and also wanting to expand that greatly. And any of the activities that happen in person, expanding those and getting back to more normalcy and more social emotional learning and mental health were big highlights in our educational partner input. We have 6 district LCAP goals. That's one more this year. So number 1, improving academic performance and decreasing disproportionalities. Number 2, ensuring all of our students graduate college and career ready. 3, improving culture and climate through increased student engagement. Number 4, increasing parent involvement. 5, providing facilities that are clean, safe, and conducive to learning. And our 6th goal this year is a new one, increasing ALA and math academic achievement for students with disabilities. I'm not going to read every action because we have a lot of them, but in goal 1, which was the improving academic achievement, I wanted to focus on the ones that we expanded or increased this year. So professional development for staff was greatly expanded. You can see early childhood education and transitional kindergarten. That plan has expanded. More opportunities for summer school enrichment, tutoring, and academic programs for our students. And then we increased opportunities for mentorships, internships, articulation, and certifications for students. Continuing on goal 1, we expanded our multi-tiered system of supports for the sites, also known as MTSS. We allocated more funds to our school sites, not necessarily in the LCAP, but we included ESSER 3 allocations directly to sites. We increased the number of behavior supports through our behavior intervention team and the intensive behavior support team. And we increased technology programs to support learning. We have a few new actions in goal 1. We had additional site IT support. So those are technicians deployed to the sites to support them with all the new technology. We included our indirect costs for the administrative costs for running all of these actions, and the cost of our schools under 350 students receiving equitable services. Under goal 2, same thing, and expanding in bold. That's the college and career ready, funding career technical education and expanding our programs. We increased the What I Need Academy, even though we weren't able to hold it every month this year due to COVID. We did have good numbers when we started running this. So for next year, we have increased funding in that program, and we increased the amount of funding going to high school mentorship program and the number of services we offer. Goal 3 are improving culture and climate through increased student engagement. We increased the counselors by adding full-time counselors at every elementary and K-8, regardless of size. We also increased the number of secondary and central counselors, and we increased the number of VAPA teachers and support for that program, the K-12 arts programs. Continuing in goal 3, we increased the access to academic activities, competitions, and athletics. Goal 4, increasing parent involvement. We added funding and opportunities for parent engagement, including new committees and new special interest groups to provide advisory and input. And we included new community liaisons for the sites that will be distributed across the district. Goal 5, we increased improvements to our existing facilities. You can see that going on if you go out to any of the sites right now. Increase the technology in classrooms, so enhance those classrooms to be more 21st century ready. And we increased the amount of PPE and the facilities upgrades for safe and healthy classrooms. Goal 6, this is our new goal to increase ELA and math achievement focused on students with disabilities. We had a number of these supports in the past, but we increased in general the special education materials, supplies, and professional development for that department. Wanted to highlight some projects from other funding sources since we had a number of plans this year that came from our COVID relief. We had facilities projects, a number of career and college actions that were funded through all of the different one-time funding sources we received. Academic achievement was increased, and a number of programs funded through culture and climate. Those all align with our LCAP goals, and they really expand the programs we have existing so that they're reaching more students. So our next steps for LCAP, tonight we have the public hearing, and we'll look at the budget overview. And then at our next board meeting on the 21st, that will be voting to adopt the LCAP and the budget and our Title III addendum. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. And before I open it up to the board, I'm going to open the public hearing. I probably should have done that first. And we have one speaker, correct?
Yes, we have one speaker. Padres Organized Community.
Sí, buenas tardes. Primero queremos decir y agradecer al señor Burke y también al distrito por hacer lo que pueden hacer para empezar alguna de esas metas. Pero también queremos hablar sobre meta número 3, porque dicen que van a poner más subdirectores y queremos saber si van a seguir en poner subdirector que son que antes trabajaban como carceleros, porque ya sabemos que ese distrito tiene un conocido como School to Prison Pipeline. Entonces, si tenemos policía, no necesitamos carceleros en posiciones de autoridad contra nuestros estudiantes y los papás. Y la otra meta, el número 4, para involucrar más los papás. Queremos saber qué exactamente van a hacer, porque nosotros sabemos que es un distrito grande y que hay mucha diversidad. Queremos saber qué van a hacer para todas las comunidades que sirve el distrito, porque unas juntas con café con los directores, eso no es suficiente, no nos escuchan, no nos dan tiempo. Mucho del tiempo nomás nos dicen cosas y tenemos que ir. Y por el futuro, yo sé que ustedes se cansan de escucharme, pero yo no les falta respeto cuando llego aquí para hablar y espero que ustedes tampoco me faltan respeto cuando hagan cosas como, yo no hago eso a ustedes. Gracias, que tienen buena noche.
Okay. I just want to appreciate Mr. Burke and the district for doing what you can to reach one of the goals. And about goal number 3, adding more vice principals. Well, are you guys placing vice principals that worked as corrections officers? Because we talk about the school to prison pipeline, but we already have police officers at the schools. We don't need vice principals that used to be corrections officers. And also we have a lot of diversity in the district. And what are you going to do to address the diversity in the district? Coffee and conversation with the principal, that is not enough. We need to do more to help the diverse people in the district. And also, if you guys are tired of listening to me, I'm not rude to you. When I go to the district or when I present, I'm very polite. And I don't appreciate when you guys make a noise at me.
Any other speakers?
No, there's no more speakers.
Thank you.
Madam
We'll close the
President.
public hearing. Any
sorry.
questions or comments from the board?
I just want to say, it's impressive, the huge response that you received. That was very significant. Great job. Outreach.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate your work. Next is agenda item M2, public hearing and review draft Creative Connections Academy Local Accountability Plan. Will open a public hearing. Any comments or speakers to this item?
No speakers, Madam
We'll close the
President.
public hearing. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, we'll move on. Agenda item M3, public hearing and review draft Smythe Academy of Arts and Sciences Local Control Accountability Plan. Mr. Burr. Oh, okay. Okay. Open the public hearing. Any speakers? Comments?
No speakers, Madam
Thank you. We'll
President.
close the public hearing. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item M4, public hearing and review draft Westside Preparatory Charter Local Control Accountability Plan. We'll open the public hearing. Any public comments?
No public comments.
We'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item M5, public hearing, special education local plan, annual budget and annual services plan. We will open the public comment. Any public, any speakers?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item M6, public hearing and review 2022-2023 proposed adopted budget. We will open the public hearing. Any speakers to that item?
No speakers, Madam President.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item M7, public hearing and approved Twin Rivers Unified School District and CSEA 2021-2022 reopeners negotiations. We will open the public hearing. Any speakers to this item?
There are no speakers.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing.
I'll move the item.
Any questions or comments from the board? Great. The item's been moved. May I have a second? Thank you.
Motion made by trustee Baker, seconded by trustee Fowler. Trustee Sandoval,
Yes.
trustee Bastian,
Aye.
trustee Rivas.
Aye.
Trustee Baker,
Aye.
Trustee Fowler,
Aye.
trustee Okara,
Aye.
and trustee Jefferson's and I. Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is agenda item N, Board Superintendent Communications. Do any trustees have any items they would like brought forward at a later date? Hearing none.
I do.
Ms. Sandoval?
Yes. This evening, we heard from parents, community members from the Garden Valley community regarding a proposed Joshua House, which will be feet away from our elementary school. And a while back, the district sent a letter to Councilman Harris and regarding the some mitigation measures which are needed to gain support from the Board of Trustees. And they were things that would provide some safety measures for the kids, like additional security patrols to include Garden Valley Elementary School to relieve our Twin Rivers Police Department of additional responsibility as of the project. Assurance the area surrounding and near the house do not become homeless encampment, and on and on. And Councilman Harris was asked about this the other evening on Uniview's show on Channel 19. Why wasn't he going to put in place any of those mitigation measures? He said they were excessive and unnecessary. I think that's very concerning. I want to read a statement so I don't take up a whole lot more time, and I want to be real concise about this and let you know just what has been going on. But I'll preface this with what happened to me the other day. I won my election June 7th. June 8th, I thought I was going to rest the next day. Got a call from parents. The mayor and all these folks are having a groundbreaking ceremony across from the school. District not invited. I wasn't invited. There were security guards. People who tried to enter were walked out. And the groundbreaking wasn't even on the site where they're planning to build this. It was a dog and pony show. There were bulldozers and balloons and all of this and we had just had a community meeting with Councilman Harris 2 days before. He never mentioned this. I think that was insulting. And I saw the people walking out. None of them belonged to our community. But I'm sorry, I got to pull this up now. I think this will be real concern that this proposal, they're going to give it to Joshua's house for 50 years for $1 a year. That's the lease agreement. So what happens, Joshua House, 3 years down the road falls? They haven't zoned it as a hospice. It's zoned like transitional housing or something. It could become a permanent homeless encampment right there across from the school. So I think that's a real concern to people. Okay, I'm gonna read this now. In 2019, Councilman Harris proposed a homeless shelter in our South Natomas neighborhood in front of Garden Valley Elementary. Our community overwhelmingly opposed this idea due to safety concerns for our children. Fortunately, it was stopped. Councilman Harris was told that our low resource minority community needs parks, community centers, and our libraries for our children to grow. Councilman Harris disregarded our concern, has now pushed another homeless housing project at the same location, a complete disregard for our needs and safety. Councilman Harris has done everything possible to keep our community unaware of this proposal and the fact that it's in design review. A private groundbreaking was held last week and people from our community were denied entry, gates placed, and security guards. Our community deserves respect, and we urge council to acknowledge this transgression and pause the proposal until meaningful community outreach is completed and the community's needs taken seriously. Yes, I'm concerned about my community, but I'm also concerned about the teachers and the staff that work there and what they're already having to contend with. And we know that if people are in hospice, they're not going to be the ones that are going to be out in the street and causing problems for our children. But what we have seen is people have congregated on Northgate Boulevard in front of our schools as parents got up here and talked. You know, their children being, you know, exposed to indecent, you know, men with their pants down is what our children are exposed to. All the garbage that is collected there. How are we going to keep people from entering the schoolyard? There's just so many problems with this, and there has not been community engagement. Councilman Harris has talked with one community organization that's clear on the other end, far from our school. And I'm just hoping that we can do something to try and stop this from moving forward. Thank you.
So Ms. Sandoval, were those your board comments for the evening?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bastian? Well, we skipped ahead, so let me go back. Does anybody have any board superintendent communication?
I just really quick, can we maybe figure out a way to work on Rec and Park District to open up the Highlands Pool for the summer like we did with Rio Linda and Grant, if a possibility, please? I know Foothill's not an option, but Highlands would be great next year, but this year, if we could just, okay, thank you.
Ms. Bastian?
Thank you, President Rivas. It's been a whirlwind, but I first and foremost want to thank my community for their overwhelming support in the election. So I also want to thank my fellow trustees here for your support as well. I am so happy to serve Area 4 in this district. So thank you. I'm humbled and I am so grateful. And I would like to just say congratulations to our 2022 graduates. One of the amazing things I was able to do and so honored was to be on stage and shake their hands, give them hugs, and all the way from high school to kindergarten graduation. So it was just so amazing, and I loved being there. And as you know, I love being in the community, and to see some of our kids grow up and across that stage was amazing. And I would also, you know, really like to thank our community for coming together for our graduates as well and supporting them, because I know it was a hard time for a lot of them during COVID. So, and thank the teachers and the staff and everyone. So I was able to go to open houses as well. And those were so fun to see all the special projects that are going on and all the fun, even gardening that our students are doing at Orchard. So I just wanted to thank everyone, thank my community, and I look forward to serving with my fellow trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bastian. Mr. Baker?
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, it was an honor to attend the 2022 graduations. Thank you for that. I want to just echo Trustee Sandoval's comments on the hospice center. I'm now getting phone calls from that neighborhood as well of concern. It just seems like every different day there's a different direction with that, and I can't even get clear answers. My parents still live within a mile of that place, so it is concerning. To me, it just seems like Jeff Harris is doing a ring and run, where he's just going to put these up and then just leave the neighborhood, or he's building a $7,000 a month assisted living facility in his backyard. So just Trustee Sandoval, I support you on that, and I'm right with you on that fight. I want to congratulate Trustee Bastian and Trustee Sandoval again on your guys' elections. I looked today, 79%, almost 80% is in a 3-person race is quite an accomplishment.
That is.
Yeah, and then Trustee Sandoval, 59% for you as well is quite an accomplishment. So congratulations. I think your community is overwhelmingly spoken for you.
Fourth time.
And we'll be, we've been on this board together for 10 years, coming July 10th. So thank you. That's all for tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Jefferson.
Yes, I just also want to echo about the graduates and the 2022 graduates. I'm so proud of those young people. I don't know what kind of world we're sending them out to, but I'm proud of them. And I hope that they can overcome some adversities that we've set up for them and do some big things in the world for us as we get older, Linda, because I'm getting there too. And I also want to say that congratulate Kim Davy on her retirement from Grant High School. She's a kind of a fixture there, and she's going to be missed at Grant High School. I know I'm going to miss her. And I got a chance to go to Grant and Rio Linda, Castoria Elementary, and Highlands graduations, and they were wonderful. So I just want to say there's just congratulations to everybody, and congratulations to Trustee Sandoval and Trustee Bastian for your wins, and Trustee Rivas for your wins this year.
Everybody forgets about Michelle. Kidding. Thank you. Mrs. Jefferson, Ms. Fowler.
Thank you, President Rivas. I want to congratulate our newly elected ones, Stacy, Rebecca, and I particularly want to congratulate President Rivas for her really hard-fought campaign. It was extraordinary. One thing I want to mention is that our last meeting was a special meeting. And at that time, there were some speakers, and I disagreed with the fact that they were being allowed to speak. And I was graciously shut down and saying that it was okay. Well, I want to graciously say tonight that I did a lot of research on the Brown Act, and I was right. So I want the record to reflect that Mr. Baker wasn't quite as well read as what I am.
Vice President Baker.
Anyway, I do want to mention that we do have to be careful about our Brown Act actions, making certain that we do follow them, because this is something that people in the community would make an issue out of it. And I just don't think it's something that we really want to that we want to risk. But I appreciate the idea, at least. Okay.
President Rivas,
And
can I
I-
just,
Go ahead.
no, that's-
And I just want to mention the same thing as Ms. Jefferson did about going to the sixth grade promotions rather than the high school. They were adequately represented. So I felt that the elementary school kids are something that should be at least recognized. And it was really great because, you know, for the past 2 years, they couldn't even get together. So this was a great thing. So I would want to mention that it was a good thing. Now you can speak.
Thank you, Trustee Fowler. I just want to congratulate, Trustee Sandoval, Trustee Bastian, and President Rivas for your great victories. And again, for the discussion tonight around the bond, it's been a long time coming. And so I'm excited to have the opportunity to get out and communicate with the communities on what this means, what it truly means, and the impact that it can have for the next 15 to 20 years in the district. So I just want to say thank you for that opportunity, and I look forward to November, and however it shakes out, but just having the opportunity speaks volumes. So thank you.
Thank you. And I did not forget about you, Mr. Alcara.
Thank you, President Rivas. Congratulations to you. Thank you for your leadership over the years with this board during difficult and challenging times. Congratulations to Trustee Sandoval for your victory. And Trustee Sandoval, you've been a champion of ethnic studies and many other issues, and glad you're going to continue that fight. And Trustee Bastion, you will continue a legacy of sacrifice and community service. And so we're honored to have the Bastion name continue. You yourself have served the district for so many years, on so many committees, and attended so many meetings. And so just we're honored to have you, and I'm honored to serve with all of you. And tonight was a big victory for our community. It wasn't easy. It was over 6 years in the making since I've been here. Maybe you guys worked on it before I came on, but I do want to just acknowledge Trustee Jefferson, because this was, when I first came on, it was a challenging issue, and this bond issue is not easy. It does impact lives, and so I just do want to say that Trustee Jefferson, appreciate you and your leadership and things that you bring up, and you bring an important voice to this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alcara. So that does conclude the business of the board. We will convene again on when? Oh, gosh, next Tuesday. So with that, the meeting's adjourned.
I'm gonna try to set the meeting with you in.
And there were 20 people there. Did they let them stay? 20, yeah. But they didn't hold it in person. Yeah, in September.
They're gonna start doing it in person.
Well, they've done some in person. They've done some in person, but not this one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,